Maya. Hey y'all! You know who this is? Your girl waiting for Winnie Escapes, and today we're back with another book discussion. And today's book you should know is "Burden of Love" by author Maya. So, with no further ado, let's welcome author Maya.
Hey y'all, hey, it's Maya.
Girl, you outside?
I am. I'm on the move. I'm on the move.
I ain't mad. It looks like it's lovely outside, so stay out there.
it feel good. We finally got a breeze. We had the Houston Author Book Expo today, so I've been
Mhm.
outside all day.
Ooh, how was that? Was it a success?
I think.
There you go. You're back. She frozen again. She's on a move, y'all. She just had her Houston Author Book Expo. So I guess she's probably grabbing her books and stuff and hoping her connection is good. But most of y'all should have already read this book. If you're not, I'm going to discuss it while she's getting her connection back together. And y'all know I have my notes to keep me on track because y'all know I like to talk and I could go all over the place, but I'm going to try to keep it together. So, Burden of Love is Leah, aka, well, it's Talia, aka Leah, and Matt Maddox, aka, oh yeah, I always have notes, because y'all know that I will forget where we are. You back?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm back. I'm back.
I'm like, she busy, so she all over the place. I was just telling people, like, giving them Talia and Maddox a little background. But now that you're back, I want to ask you first, tell the viewers about yourself so they know some more about you.
Hi, I'm author Maya. I am 25 years old. I am a Black romance, women's fiction, urban romance author. I give a little bit of everything. Burden of Love is my first traditional release, and that's the book we're talking about today. So I'm super excited to see you guys' thoughts and reactions to my first traditional release.
Well, congratulations on that. Yes, give her a round of
Thank
applause.
you. Woo-hoo.
Yes, I thank you guys for the congratulations to the lovely author. So tell us what made you go this route with this book? Because it was very interesting how you had the author and the lawyer and the cop and stuff, and like we're gonna get in deep, but I want to know like where this come from? Society? You trying to get us? But I'm like, oh,
Yes.
that's like girl.
So I was watching All Rise on I don't remember which station did All Rise, but
Mm.
that had me like, oh, my creative juices flowing. I'm like, ooh, this is kind of good. I like the way things are flowing. And so I was like, what would a lawyer book from me look like? And I was like, I gotta have my mess. I gotta have my family drama. So yeah, I was like, let's build these layers, get this corruption in there.
Yeah, girl. But it felt like one thing I could say this book felt so realistic. I was like, oh, she hitting all the topics. She's going to trigger some people, but it was still very tasteful and beautiful. I enjoyed it. I
Mhm.
really did enjoy it. Did Talia get on my nerves sometime? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I was like, come on, Talia, get it together. But I loved how you started off with the aliases. So I love that. And then I'm like, you know what? That makes sense. Like that's probably how if you're in these type of professions,
Mm-hmm.
how they meet people because they're always
Mm-hmm.
busy, they're always around the
Yep.
clock. So I love the idea that they met on a romance, kind of hookup app
Mm-hmm.
for people who are high in whatever they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And but I did love Maddox. I loved him. I love what
Me
I don't like his
too.
corruption, but I love his like honesty, his vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me
He
how you
had
come
to
up
do
with
what he
this
had to do for
character.
his family. Look, it was all for his family.
It was yeah, girl. I loved it. And it showed growth in men, which I loved. Because it was like
Mm-hmm.
how his mom and sister, oh, he was never like this, but he was vulnerable enough to really express how he felt.
Mm-hmm.
about everything. I was like, oh, man who is not ashamed to say what's on his mind.
Right.
I love it. So let's get into it. So,
Yeah.
as we know, it all started with drama with the
Mm-hmm.
officer Raymond. You know, he's been an officer for a long time, a vet. That's what they call
Mm-hmm.
a vet. You know, get called for a break and robbery. He loses
Mm-hmm.
the suspect, and then he sees another black person
Mm-hmm.
and arrests him. We get a call on camera, so you know it goes viral. Girl, talk about it. Talk about this because I was like, and I have a black son. I was like, girl,
Right. I have two black sons, and it's just like that's our reality. Like I wanted to put a little as much realistic aspects as possible because growing up, you can be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and you become a target. You become
exactly,
a lot of things, and living while black is already a crime, apparently.
girl. I was like, I said, oh, she's starting off strong. She is not playing
Mm-hmm.
with us. She was like, and I was like, okay, what's going on here? What's going on? Who's this Raymond guy? Who's this Donovan? And I was getting so pissed off because he, I hate, one thing I didn't like about the Officer Raymond's character is that, like, cocky, you know, pompous type person, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you did wrong. Instead of being like, you know
Mm-hmm.
what? But no, even with the camera on, you would think he would be like, you know, let me not do this on camera. But it just, like I said, it motivate him to keep on doing mess.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, I wanted to jump through those pages and smack him in the freaking face. Because that's traumatic. It's so traumatic.
Very much
And
so, yes.
I did a couple of years ago I read a book with my son, and then we did research on the book, and it talks about how any type of experience with law enforcement, if it's like and just follows the person, so it alters their life, and it usually alters their life not in a positive way. So
Mm-hmm.
like seeing that, and then how you went when we get in more in deep to it, I'm like, I love how you let the whole thing come back together. So I was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
please don't let this be, you know, it was traumatic, but I
Yeah.
like how
I didn't want to put too much trauma because I was like, at the end of the day, this is a romance, and me personally, I don't like to read too much trauma. So I was like, let me like hit the marks, but not like get too in depth or make it like too traumatic. That was my goal.
and you did that, and then after you hit us, you took us back. Listen, when all started, then you take us back to this beautiful love scene. I'm like, okay, I see you,
Yeah.
Maya. I like it. I like how they made a match. You know, she just finished school. I love how she just became like, you know, part of her career, her hard work and stuff like that. I like, oh my god, I love when my sisters are doing great characters and all. Um, and then she was just kind of like, okay, we just came out the office. Oh wait, hashtag. I like when she checked those two people who was like being stink to her when she was an intern, and that's like, oh, and now we're peers. I love.
Right. Yep.
I said, yeah, you gotta let people know. I remember what you did, but
Exactly.
now we're equal. So I love that you put that in your book. And then you know she meet up with Maddox at this hotel. So tell me how you came up with that scene.
Um, I don't know. I feel like hotels are a safe space when you're meeting people online because you don't want
Mm-hmm.
nobody to come into your home and then they come turn out to be a weirdo. Because I've seen too many true crime podcasts and episodes one night, and then they know where you live and they stalking you. No, we gotta be smart about hookups. Mm-hmm.
Is that a real hotel place? Because I love that freaking room. How it had the lights over. I was like, is this a real hotel? Because I like that room they keep on going to. I
There
love.
are a lot of nice hotels in downtown Houston area, and there
It.
are. I didn't want to say like a specific name, but it's based off of real hotels in the area. So
I
yeah.
figure I'm like, let me see what hotel she's describing. Whenever I come to Houston, I could stay here because I was like, I like how when they was doing it against the. I'm like, can they see in the window? What window they had? Was it like?
No, yeah, those hotels get really high up, so you can see out, but they can't see you.
Well, keeps it more around. Oh my god, I love it. I love how they had that instant. What I loved about how you put these characters together was even though they texting each other, they see, okay, we got good chemistry. Let's meet up at, like you said, a safe area for both of them. And then they like just connected. He's like, yo, this usually doesn't happen, but let's see how this goes. And I like that it was a guy who was more, how he's supposed to be, assertive. You know what I mean? Like he was like, no, I'm courting this girl. I'm gonna chivalry. I ain't ashamed. I feel something here. I'm not. No, I don't know what this is, but I like it. Yeah. And I love that you did that to this character because I'm like, yo, Maddox, I love that. And then let's talk about how she agrees, okay, we're going, because she normally blocks everybody. She didn't block him. It was like, we like what's going on. Let's see where it goes. I appreciate it. So I'm like, so what made you decide to like let them keep this a secret for so long?
Because I wanted to build that like heart dropping moment when they discover like, oh my gosh, we're on different sides of the law. Like I wanted that to like be more impactful than let's disclose who we are right now, because I wanted to play on that like secrecy a little bit more than usual.
And I think you did great with that because that's why I wanted to smack her. I'm like, are you building this? And even her friend was like, yo, you should know this stuff. But I'm like, it kept their relationship so pure. Like it's not about who we are. It's not about our titles. It's about who we are as individuals. And I like that they really got to know each other. I like that he's like, no, let's go away. And I like he was getting out all his comfort zone. He buying her like asking questions about the flowers. Remember? Oh, I love that he remember everything about her. Boy, she like to eat her breath. I'm like, okay, man, you never had a girlfriend, but you know what you're doing. I love how you did that because it made it seem like it was just I like to say like a new love, like young people love, because it's not so much drama, even though she has her own career and he has his own career. But when it came to them, it wasn't like the detective or the lawyer. It was just, Maddox and Taylor. Oh, Leah and Matt, because they still kept their But I like how they started building each other. So that's why she was pissing me off when they've been, they said they're gonna be together. Will you be my girlfriend? I was like, oh my God, that's so cute. Let a grown man tell somebody, can he be their girlfriend? I love that. I love you said girlfriend, not want to be my woman, I'm be your man. I love it because it kept it, like I said before, it kept it so innocent. So I love like you kept their romance innocent. Even though her best friend was like, come on, like I'm like, I'm best friend. You don't know what's going on back here. You know what's going on.
Literally.
Which was really good. But then here you drop us with the bomb. She's thinking about, okay, they about to get on the anniversary where they're going to introduce themselves. I love you're very girl, Maya. You be knowing because you hit it right before they're about to meet. Boom. She sees him on a freaking TV.
Yep.
Like, oh my God, why she just got selected? Which I loved her and her dad's relationship. So now she's like, oh my God, I was supposed to introduce this guy to my family. Finding out he is the detective that is on the biggest case that's gonna be ever in her career. I even like how the dad just met with him right before she saw who he was. Like how you did that play on the dad and his relationship. Like they kind of like bump heads. And then you had her see him on like, you smart girl, I see you.
Yep. I said I wanted to like keep it like the whole cat and mouse kind of thing for a long time to keep like the readers entertained. I didn't want to like give it all too quickly or take it too slow because I wanted a nice pace to all of the beats in the book.
You did good. I was like, I said, I see what she's doing here. I see what she's doing here. She made it seem like, okay, now the dad and the boyfriend don't know who they are, but you've shown that their relationship is not the greatest, and how she's so close to her father, which is going to be like a huge impact on what's going on. But then she finds out who he is and like basically ignores him, which I don't like. I said, come on, girl, we too grown for this. Like, stop. It's neither here nor there. But then they have a discussion. She's like, I don't think it's going to work because you're in the office. I didn't like how she tried to play him, though. I did not like how she went straight for his character, like that fast.
Tell me why did she try to do that? She was hurt. Talia, she went with her emotions a lot, even though, like as a lawyer, you're supposed to go with logic. No, because she was in love with this man and she found out this. It's just like, well, how are we supposed to be together if I can't trust you to be a stand-up guy, knowing
Mm-hmm.
how shady detectives can be? Like, yeah.
I like that though. I hated it, but I liked it because it made him want to be like, yo, I gotta be a good dude for her. Like, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Even though I love when he was like, yo, I'm like, oh, you want me to be a bad guy? Like in his own head when she like messed him up at the Chinese place. But then he was like, that's not how much, like how he like fighting with his own self. That
Mm-hmm.
made me really appreciate him because I tell everybody you have to do self inventory. And he
Mm-hmm.
constantly did it. Like she kind of like was emotional and shutting herself down. Like even her brother was like, "Yo, what the heck?" The mom, everybody was telling her like, "You don't know if just because he's a detective don't mean he's a bad person." And he was still like, "Okay, how can I still get her back without looking like a fool?" I love
Mm-hmm.
how he was vulnerable with his sisters and mom. That was so cute. Like, yo, oh my god, it was so freaking sweet. And he didn't give up. Like no matter
He
what,
didn't. Oh no, yeah. When you know your person is in your life, you don't fight for that love.
girl. And no matter what she did, he was like, no. But let's talk about how she breaks his heart because she finds out he's a detective at the noodles place. And I'm like, ooh, that made me want to get some noodles. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm like, I gotta go get me some reading that. I was like, I need to give him some ramen noodles. But at the noodle place, when she said all that crazy stuff to him and he was pissed off and he left. And then you know how they were avoiding each other because she said, I'm not going to the Prince thing. I don't want to do anything there. He's going to be there. But remember,
Mm-hmm.
his captain called him to make him go to
Mm-hmm.
with Raymond to do his interview. But let's talk about the text message and then the closet. Please tell us what was going through your mind. You have the floor. You have the floor, Maya.
Oh, now we gotta talk about this.
You know we were going to talk about it. You
Oh,
wrote it.
I did, but I had no control over what these characters was doing. That was them. But no, I figured it was high emotions, high angst. I wanted them both to have that vulnerable moment to like
Mhm.
release all this tension that was building up, and it was building.
It was building.
And so it's just like it just went to show like even though they're both like at this crossroads, that attraction and that tension is still there, and yeah, it wasn't going nowhere.
I love that scene, and I love how, like you said, as soon as he touched her, she was like, she couldn't. Her body was like, She couldn't even resist him. And then he was like, oh, and he was like, you know what? I gotta get you a release. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, in the broom closet, okay, flower closet, broom closet, we give her a release. And then after that, after he gave her a release, she was like, I need you in me. He's like, I don't have a condom. I don't care. I was like, ooh, the miss who's top of some. I studied for 8 years in law. I don't want no family. Remember, she said all those stuff prior.
That went out the window.
She, after she broke up with him, telling he's corrupt, all types of crazy stuff. Soon as she touched her hand.
That's all it took.
Oh my god, it was I was like, I loved it. I said, okay, Steamy, file cloud, that was so good. And then the crazy part, and then as soon as she was done, she went back to her hot mess self.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see it ever again. I'm like, cause he was the crazy part about it that kind of broke me for him was like he was like just begging her like, yo, you see this chemistry, you see that we need to be together. Who cares the profession? You're not even trying to see if we can make it work. Like he's saying this while he's making love to her, like break it. And she clearly says when you describe him that she feels it, but she's like he sees a turmoil, like she's going back to she's crying, but she would not let her guard down. I'm like, that's a lot of women's problem. We see some
Do you
guys,
hear me? Yep.
we don't know how to separate our emotion and logic, and that's why I'm so happy
Mm-hmm.
that Maddox, didn't give up on her. Like he was like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I can see it, I can feel it. I don't care how much it's hurting. Even with her, everybody was like, yo. why would you put yourself through so much trauma? But she didn't. What hurts me about her is that she didn't really know. She really didn't know how.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't know how to have a conversation. Even like that's why I really love when her brother called her and she had a conversation with her brother,
Mm-hmm.
SJ. I'm like, oh my god, I love that conversation. Like he knew instantly something was wrong with her, and then she poured out all her soul to him, and he was like, "Yo, you didn't mama and them love my wife? No, you need to stop trying to please everybody and fight for what you want."
Mm-hmm.
And she still didn't know how to do that, but I love that her brother was like, if it's meant to be, to come back around, you figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And that relationship between them two was just so beautiful to me. Like I love that he was really her best friend, and he gave
Mm-hmm.
sound advice. He always gave good advice. It wasn't no like, well, some brothers, siblings have some hot mess advice. He always gave good advice for his little sister.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's talk about the corruption and Maddox. Let's go to him.
Ooh,
So like they always say, don't judge a book by the cover, which is true.
that is true.
But he was so complex. Like the reason why he got into it because you write his best friend, got hit by a stray bullet from a police officer. So he's like, he's gonna become a police officer. And then he gets into it. His mom gets sick from the diabetes, had to get both her leg amputated. And then he needs money. Then he goes undercover. Then it's just like all the corruption that he did. And he didn't fight with himself. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about your thought process through all of that because you got this good guy who got into the force to do something right, to be a difference in the community. Then life really life be lifing,
Mm-hmm.
and he makes all these crazy decisions that he's like fighting with because he didn't want to do it. Even his partner, I respect the partner. Like, you think I don't know what you're
Right.
doing?
Yep.
Like that's really
Mm-hmm.
like some brotherhood for real, for real. So tell me how you came up with all this because this was just very deep.
Okay, so I'm a Law and Order SVU girly down, and so there have been a lot of moments in that show when you see these detectives go undercover or they get these cases that make them test their willpower. And I was like, this man has so many obstacles in his life. I want him to have like issues. I want it to like not to be too serious because she's not gonna take it back if it's too serious. Like
Yeah.
a little corruption, a little stealing, that's fine. Like that's forgivable. So yeah, he did it for like his family, and family is important to her. Family is important to him. So I knew she would be able to like rationalize the corruption that he did, so that their story could still be beautiful.
Exactly, because it was like he was like, "I ain't doing this." Then a guy deposited money in his account. He's like, "Wait, okay, I gotta do this. I need this money." And
Yep.
then through it all, knowing that he's fighting with that, his partner's having his back, and then he gotta go and he turning on on another guy who did something that
Mm-hmm.
wasn't even right. But the simple fact of the matter, like you're a Law and Order chick. I used to be, but now I just read love romance novels, so I ain't on that. I read the books. But I was just thinking when I was reading all of this, it's like, why, like, when all this drama and stuff happened, wouldn't it just been simpler or easier for the cop to be like, even when he went through all this stuff, like maybe I got the wrong guy. Even when the captain saw the video and said the video was not good, to be like, let's just drop the charges. Like, I didn't understand. You the writer, so tell me, um, why they were so gun ho to get this, and it's because even so, like like nowadays, if we see something like that on TV, they try to like really distort the young man's character. They couldn't find anything on him, but it still was like gun ho
Yep.
to lock up this young man. Even Raymond, like the guy, he could have been like, you know what, Captain,
Oh
something.
no, people when they get over a certain age, they don't want to admit they're wrong. They want to be stubborn, and because he was stubborn, the force isn't gonna turn on their own because there's a brotherhood, and so
Mm-hmm.
they had to stand behind this until they couldn't, until they were forced to admit their wrongs.
Exactly. And then when they found out, remember, she was like, "Yeah, they got all this information on us," and he mad as like, "Oh my god, now she gonna know I did some corrupt stuff." But I'm like, to the captain, I'm like, okay, he got the wrong person. The number one lawyer in the whole state is taking over the case, and
Mm-hmm.
they got all this stuff on you, and y'all still going through with it. Like, what in
Mm-hmm.
the? You don't care. Like, you about to take down the whole freaking law enforcement for this one person. They got all this stuff on you. I was just like, but like you said, they still do
It's a
that now today.
brotherhood. Yep.
It's freaking crazy. And I was like, oh my god, oh my freaking god. And then Talia was freaking going crazy, stressing out. But I
Mm-hmm.
did love her passion and drive. I'm like, if I was locked up or something, that's who I wanted to go.
Do you hear me? Yeah. She don't
Like,
play about her clients.
she
And she
don't.
was very personal. Like, she made sure to keep them updated on all of the case updates and everything. Like, she cared about that boy and his family. Because, yeah, it's a tough situation to be in for sure.
Yeah, I love that she like went to the. She always went above and beyond for the clients, and that's how you know. Now that's what she's supposed to be. Even to the point she was willing to lose the love of her life for her clients and her career. She's like, we can't do this, and I get that. I wouldn't lose the love of my life, but I respect the whole point because, like, with me being a kid in my life, I had so many different careers. People like, how do you do so? I said, because I have a family. My
Mm-hmm.
family lifestyle does not afford me to do all the other things that I probably want to do. I have to choose.
Listen. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I have to choose to be a mom and a wife or be this big time career person. And I tell people that's
Mm-hmm.
why I would change and put stuff on hold. I've been directors and stuff. I stepped down for positions because when I saw something taking over my life, it's only 24 hours in a day.
Yep,
And 8 of
exactly.
them I'm sleeping. I have, but I'm like, I respect it. I did respect it because she went to school, she did all those things, and she finally reaping the benefits of her hard work. So I respect it 100%. And she didn't have
Mm-hmm.
a family, but I love that when she met him, all those things she thought she didn't want, she started thinking about.
Yep.
I was like, oh my God, Maya's doing this. Like, I like this. For real, because I always think like, how are you also thinking about this? Like, because I'm like, I love you hit so many different things with these characters. Like we see them being headstrong, we see them both being vulnerable, we see them confused. Like life.
Mm-hmm.
This book felt so rare, and you use a lot of current events that's going on in today's society. So it made this book even more personable and relatable, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
But then, so they did. Let's talk about after he secretly records Raymond committing, saying that he did what he did, and he sent it to her because remember she's so petty and know that she can be next to him. She would not respond back to him unless he sent her. He had to send her professional email.
Yep.
Because she knew he was her kryptonite. She said, I'm not responding to this
Exactly.
bull.
She said, I can't fold. I gotta stay true to what I believe.
Oh my God. That was like the funniest thing to me ever. Like he's like, she didn't respond to me. And then he sent an email and then she goes, oh, meet me at the same spot. And then we gave that to her and all that good stuff. And I love too about him is that he was willing to put it all on the line.
Mm-hmm.
Like all on the line. Give up his career, even his life. He didn't even do this stuff for his mama. He was like, I found something, and even he was saying, I don't know if it's love, but I feel like it's love. It gotta be love. I was like, man, this is so cute. And then they go through all of that, Donovan gets off, and then he's like, well, now can we be together? And they have they're talking on the phone and all that good stuff, and she tells him to come over, but she's like, I want us to be not like before. You gotta be out if you're gonna do this. Which I love. Like, hello, your best friend was telling you that's how y'all messed up the first time. Which y'all being all freaking secretive. But I love when it was being
Exactly.
secretive because It lets them because two things. One, like your thought process, which I love, if they would have just said what they were from the beginning, they wouldn't even got this far in their connection. But when they were
Mm-hmm.
able to really see the person behind the title, they were like, "Oh, we're great for each other." Like, and that's another thing too. You need to talk about that, and I hope people caught that in the story. Is about leave the titles where they at the job and come as yourself. Like you're not gonna be, oh, I'm Doctor this or I'm lawyer this or I'm teacher this. I'm like, no, what is your name? Who is
Mm-hmm.
the individuality? And I think if no one gets anything from this story, that's what I hope they get. Like when you don't bring a representative, bring who you are because you might miss an opportunity just because you say I'm professor this. I'm not. Now somebody go, I can't talk to you because of your
Yep.
title
Yep.
instead of saying I'm John. John Doe,
Mm-hmm.
Jane Doe, everybody figured it. Like somebody, and that's what I think I really loved about this book because you let it be known that just come as you are, who you are
Mm-hmm.
without the title, so that the individual could really get to know, learn one another.
Mm-hmm.
So now she, invites him over to her place for the first time. And she said, let me light candles and her secret scent, which was good. I'm glad like after that happened. Oh, rewind. I love that when they went to the prosecutor the first time she tried to play her. And she came back again, she tried to play with her father. But Maddox showed up without them even asking him to be there. He was given he
Yep.
didn't
He's like,
even
nah, y'all gonna respect them. They put in that hard work. Y'all gonna respect what they're doing here.
he wasn't gonna leave her out to dry. Because even though
Mm-hmm.
he told her, you know what, don't use me unless and but she didn't even have to say that, and he still showed up like, nah, I just want to make sure that this is him. That's also
Mm-hmm.
so cool for him that he really wanted to change, and I love that about him. Like he even thought about everything when I got called him. He's smart. This is what we got to
Mm-hmm.
do. He talked to the freaking captain. He was like, I'm away my options. But the good thing about it, and I respect about him, he was a man. He said, if I have to
Mm-hmm.
go to jail, if they try to kill me, at least I'm leaving on a positive and I'm not going to keep on doing all this
Mm-hmm.
negative. And I love that. I'm like, yeah, one thing about people that I don't like, if you freaking messed up, own it, deal with the consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Stop messing up and then acting like there's no consequence for your mess up. And then,
Or you try to run from the consequences of your actions, like, no, mm-mm. Because that don't cause
exactly.
nothing but more drama. And we needed to move on from this bad point in your life so that we can grow. That was the whole
Exactly.
thing about growth.
Nope, they don't want to grow. I tell people you rather stay in the mud and dirty than get up and get clean because it's unfamiliar.
Yeah, no.
No, I'm like, get up and take a shower. You never know what you're gonna experience. But everybody's so
Mm-hmm.
used to their mess that.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that he was willing to like see everything head on. Like even he
Mm-hmm.
messed up, and he's like, even his friends, like his partner, why did you get into this? And made him think like, yo, this is not why I got into this, and I got so caught up in this foolishness.
Exactly.
And he knew when it's time, like I'm still young. Let me go a different route, and I love that because it's like some people do
Mm-hmm.
get caught up in stuff. Life happens. We're human, but if you have an opportunity to make it right, make it right. I'm glad that he did that,
Yep.
and I'm glad that they when and to even them. So he's making them right in his life, and then in the
Mm-hmm.
relationship they make it right. Like now we're not gonna be secretive. We're gonna come. We're gonna introduce each other to people. We're gonna start. We ain't gonna we're gonna keep our original date, but we're gonna start like this. I love how they like really thought about being very mature and their
Mm-hmm.
growth in their relationship because I'm like they're not too. So I love that. But let's talk
Exactly.
about how she wins the case and then her family goes to this party that Maddox is not invited to. But tell them what happened at the party. What the sister-in-law think?
Well, let's just say the calendars was in effect because dates was being missed. It's something about the glow in your skin, ma'am. Let's talk about it.
What?
No, yeah.
But you know what's funny about that whole scene when she said, "Oh, you glowing? Either you pregnant, or you about to be ready." Her sister's hot, and then she goes in the house to make her plate, and then she texts him, and then she started panicking about how she texted him,
No, yeah.
and he like, "Well, let's find out." Like he was like, "Come on,"
Literally.
and he goes, "When you done, come over here." And then the funny part when she gets to his house, and he's like, "No, it's gonna be the grand tour," and then he's like, "You want to find out?" Like, like we
Literally.
ain't gonna play this game. Like, we're not, you say you didn't have no period, so obviously this probably it.
Exactly.
Oh my god! And then they find out that she is, and I was happy. I was like, but I was nervous though. I had to see. I said, how far along am I in this book to see where she gonna go with? Because
No,
we
yeah.
close to the end. This should be good. Because I'm like, if she freaking freak out and be like, oh my god, because she was a little bit.
She was, but yeah.
She
I
pulled
think
it together.
it was at the point where this baby is signifying a new chapter in our relationship. I don't mind becoming a mom when my career is blocked. Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Cause she's like, I'm gonna need a village. What if he go to jail?
Mm-hmm.
How am I do this? They're gonna be disappointed in me, and all those type of things. And I'm glad she pulled it together. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
also glad that he was like, yo, I got you no matter what. I understand about your career. And then let's meet the family.
Yes.
So she calls a Sunday dinner at her mama. And tell me how you come up with it. Just walk us through, because you know I know it. But I want to see how your thought process, how you came up with this scene, how she comes in and lay it out between the daddy. Go ahead.
Well, my thought process was this is like the resolution, like we're getting to the end of the book. I don't want too much to happen, but I want it to be realistic because meeting parents can be tough, especially when you're gonna drop all these bombs. So I wanted it to be realistic. I wanted it to be authentic. I wanted to like have a feel good moment because I love family dinners. I love moments where families get together. Like that's one of my key elements in every book that I write. So I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
want this to be like less stress, more let's come together, let's be what she needs us to be because we love Talia, and if Talia love you, then we're gonna love you too. So yeah, I wanted it to be authentic.
And you did a great job with that. And I loved how so many different things happened at that dinner.
Mm-hmm.
How the dad was like, "What the heck is he doing here?" but he,
Mm-hmm.
but Maddox was so smooth with it. He was so respectful. I love that he never let any like rift change who he's like. This is not who we are. We not. You ain't the lawyer. I ain't the detective. I'm your, daughter's boyfriend. I love that he keeps saying boyfriend. And
Yes. Like put some respect
then
on my title. I worked
exactly,
hard for this.
exactly. And then even before they got there, how he was like, "Well, if your dad doesn't agree," I love how he did that. Are you gonna run away from me this time? Breathe, breathe. Like he
Mm-hmm.
had to have give her a whole pep talk. She goes, "No, no," and I was like, "Okay, you better not." And then so she introduced him and everything. And then after dinner, she lets him know, "Okay, guys, I'm pregnant."
Chase the
What?
drama.
Two major balls. I love SJ. Yo, you gangster. We had to do the boyfriend and the baby daddy.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yo, SJ, I love his character. But then, the mama comes up and the first thing she says to the mom is she disappointed. And the mom just looked at her and she just boo-hoo cried. And that broke my heart a little bit. I was like, oh my God, come on, tell it. But then the dad said, come here. And like she just broke. Oh, that was one of my favorite scenes. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was one of my favorite scenes, even though I love all the love scenes. But that moment when She was at her most vulnerable place. Her father didn't drop the ball.
Mm-hmm.
He
Because you know how
didn't.
dads can be. Because when I first told my daddy I was pregnant for the first time, he said, "What?" And he like blew up, and I hung up. I said, I can't do this." So I know how dramatic dads can be, and I was like, she needs to have an opposite of what I had. She needs
It's true.
gentle,
Like,
because Talia cares so much about her dad's opinion, everything that her
mhm,
dad does, and if he would have blew up on her, she would have blew up on Maddox, and I couldn't
yeah,
have that. I couldn't have
because he already knew that was a tough situation right there,
that. Hmm.
and I love that. That's why I said the father did not drop the ball. I was so proud of Big S shit, and he told her I could never be disappointed in
Yep.
you. Cause it's true. Like it's not like she's two. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
She loves this guy,
Hmm.
and even the guy admitted, like, I plan on marrying her. Like, I love your daughter. Like, he was very
Exactly.
upfront about that, and you could tell, like, when she's around him, how she acts differently. Everybody saw how much she loved him. So I love that moment, and I love that the father was humble and man enough to be like, no, this is not what my daughter needs right now.
Hmm.
So I love that scene. And then the funny part about when she do all this drama, takes him to dinner. She finds out that he got that money corruptly, but that's his business. Then she meets
Hmm.
his family, and she nervous.
No, yeah. No, yeah. Meeting somebody else's family is hard. When I met my man's family for the first time, I was so scared. I'm like, oh my gosh. What if they don't like me? Because if they don't like me, you're not going to like me. We're not going to be together. I don't know. But they usually 85% of the time, because it's those people who do be tripping. But they're usually pretty cool if you're cool. Vibes are good. As long as everybody cool, it'd be cool.
Yeah, and that's why he said, "Well, I already broke up with you, and they're gonna think this and that and then
Hmm.
everybody came in with the total opposite, which I love. Like because they knew he loved her,
Hmm.
and I love that because you could have had him be petty because a lot of families be petty. That's the big
Girl.
brother, her only son. You know, the mama could have been a hot mess. Like that's their provider, but she loved him enough to know that's not it. He loves this woman,
Exactly.
and I'm happy for them. And it was just beautiful. I loved it. How they just they just mess, and I'm like, this is called adulting, and being family and being
Exactly.
mature. And I love the black love, and I love because, like you said, I love family gatherings. I'm always having my Sunday dinner share with my kids and my family. We're actually going away this weekend. They're like, my sister's like, are you like the freaking Stouffer wife? I'm like, no, it's just like you said, family means everything to me.
Hmm.
And I sometimes I like the big group, sometimes I like the small group. Sometimes I just wanted me, my husband, and my two children. And sometimes I want
Hmm.
everybody there because you have different experiences. And I tell people, oh,
Exactly.
why did I get invited this time? Because this wasn't the time for you to be here. We need different
Exactly.
experiences for different things, and I don't feel like explaining it to nobody. But I like also when everybody comes together too, when it's a big thing because it's another different experience.
Hmm.
But then we fast forward after they meet the family, everything goes well, and you go, let's go to the future. So first, we start in the present time. She rewinded us. She brought it back to the present time. Now she takes us to the future. And I was like, okay. I was loving it because I would say she better let us see what kind of baby she's gonna have. If she's gonna have a boy or girl. I wanted to know. I said, if she would end this and not tell me, I'd have got on you, Maya. I would have got on you.
I was debating that ending. I was like, I don't know if we should just have her be pregnant or make her have the baby. So I was like, what would make the readers love me, not hate me? Like, because y'all know readers need that epilogue, baby.
We do, or we need a book number two. I said she better. When I saw I was getting close, because like everybody laugh. I buy a whole bunch of books, but I read everything on my Kindle. I have, and all my books look brand new because I don't go. I just buy them because I just like having a physical copy, but I read everything on
Hmm.
Kindle. Um, so I was like, if this is book number two, or she don't have an epilogue. When I talk to Maya tomorrow, we're gonna have a problem because
Not a
I hate being
problem.
left on the cliffhanger. You want to know?
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm invested. and they
Right.
love story. But I love that you gave us an epilogue. I love that she had a baby girl. I said,
Mhm.
oh, mini her. And I love his relationship, and I love that they made it work. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You end up filling his void and passion where he had to open a community center, and now she's pregnant again, and they're gonna have a little boy. I said, okay. Cause I was wondering, I'm like, they don't only have one baby. She what? And then I saw, I said, okay, and it's a boy. I said, okay. She answered all the little things I'm thinking about, and
Yep.
they throw her a surprise party because she made a partner, which I love, and then Donovan. I love that you
I
brought him
said I
back.
needed to have a full circle. I needed a full circle moment because Donovan started the book. Donovan got to end the book, and we need to update on him too, so nobody's left in the dark on how life has been after that traumatic experience.
And I was so happy you did that, Maya. I was so
Mhm.
happy because when he came in, I was like she started crying. I wanted to cry because we're curious because like you said, he started the book
Right.
and he went through all those different changes. It was like,
Mhm.
what's happening now? So I love that you
Mhm.
guys know that. He graduated, he got his art degree, he had him a girlfriend, aka she can get his own book because that would be a good book. I'll be invested. I'll read it
Oh,
because
I
you
don't
can
know.
show. I'm just saying you could show how he transitioned, how he met
Mhm.
the love of his life transitioning, and then like that could be like two chapters, then we could get into that currently. But you could kind of like,
Mhm.
I'll read it.
The
Cause I was like, she said he
appreciation.
found a girl, so therefore,
Mhm.
ooh, that could be another book. I was gonna say, stay tuned for book 9. I was gonna make, I swear I was gonna see that at the end. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm like, oh, Donovan got a book. As soon as he said he had a girlfriend, I was like, he better have a book. That's exactly what I said. But I didn't see. I didn't see the stay tuned. So I was like, I'm gonna ask her because I'll be. I think as a reader, like you said, full circle,
Mhm.
we were all interested. I was like her. I would think I see either Donovan gonna get a book or the best friend gonna get a book. Somebody need to get another book. Like I was in my head about all of it. I'm like, this could
Not
be a
everybody
whole.
get a book.
But it's full circle. It's different. It bridges off, but it kind of could be like, okay, now we know what's going on between Matt and them. But
Mhm.
I like that he drew on poetry. I like that he's still involved in the community, the Donovan,
Mhm.
and like even Matrix is still like connected with him. Like I thought that was so beautiful. How they still
Mhm.
kept, like you said, you brought up full circle that we know, like, oh, he's okay. He's still connected to the family, and also they're okay. They're happy in their love. They made everything work out, and he even said,
Mhm.
"Yeah, I can take baby girl with me to work." So he even let us know
Mhm.
that
Yep.
we good with this. She still got her career. Now she's
Exactly.
partner. I got baby girl and we good. So that made me happy. Like the whole family, everybody was there. I'm like, this book, anybody like who's struggling with a relationship or new love, I think should read this book because it gives you
Mhm.
so many emotions of
Mhm.
fighting for love, fighting against love.
Because there are a lot of people who, at the first sign of struggle, they ready to call it quits. And sometimes you need to fight if you truly love that person. And that was my whole goal in this book is there are burdens to being in love that you need to fight through and figure out if it's worth fighting for.
And you are absolutely correct. I literally like at the beginning of this month was having that type of conversation with a girlfriend. I was like,
Hmm.
people give up so fast on relationships, and they be like, "Oh, you have
All
such
the
a good
time.
relationship." I was like, "You think everything with peaches and cream?" Me and my husband been together for over 19 years,
Woo!
and I'm like, "Do you think everything was sweet all the time?" No, some
Not at
of it was
all. Look, me and my man been together. We're gonna be celebrating 5 years in June. And do we have trials and tribulations? Absolutely.
but because you're growing. I told everybody, I
Hmm.
said, we've been together 19, 20. I said, we've been together for different decades in our life. We're different people,
Exactly.
but to make sure that we're growing together and growing as an individual, those are challenges because you're still trying to figure out who you are. They're trying to figure out who they are, and you got to make that come together. But the beauty of it all, I tell everybody, is that once you bring it together, now you're like,
Mhm.
oh man, none of this stuff bothers me. We've been doing like nothing,
Right.
you know. So you have to grow to that comfortability in that place where like that's my guy, and he knows, oh, that's my girl, ride or die. We've been together through all these things, and that's what I loved about this love story.
Hmm.
That even though it wasn't 100 years, it let them know that, hey, don't give up so easily. Fight, figure it out. You know what I'm saying? If you see somebody, you have a connection, start connection, believe in your connection.
Mm-hmm.
Author Maya, I'm going to tell you so much. Thank you. I know you are a busy woman. You have festivals and events in Houston, and you still make time
Yes.
for us. And I do want
Always. I
to
love the energy. I love the questions you brought back. You made me laugh. I love laughing and talking about my books. So yeah.
I really appreciate you. Let the viewers know like where they can follow you, what you got coming up, so that we can definitely support.
Okay, so I just did a cover reveal for book 33. Honey Special Rule drops May 6th. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Optimizer on all socials. I got a lot going on. I'll be at the Black Romance Book Fest in Atlanta if y'all want to meet me in person. So yeah, I'm all over the place. I'm excited to meet new readers and all that good stuff.
Well, Maya and everybody, you already know who this is. Whitney from Whitney Escapes on everything for all your travel needs, for the book stuff. Y'all know where to find me. And we want to say thank you so much because I know you a busy lady and you still came up here and you was prompt, you was still on time.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate that. And I'm going to continue to support you. I enjoy your work, as you know. I have read several of your books and never disappoint. So
Thank
thank you.
you.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure, and I appreciate you. And anybody else give me a excuse? I'm like, Arthur Meyer was on a book expo thing, and she still got on here on time. We had a good conversation.
Yes.
So nobody's gonna be able to give me no excuses. But once again, thank you for coming on. I hope you have a great rest of your evening and sell out whatever you're selling or whatever you're doing. Let it be a success, and God bless.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a blast. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Do you work too much, constantly on the go, miss hanging out with friends, family, or even yourself? Do you ever feel like you need an escape? Winnie's Escapes is here to help with just that. We specialize in family travel, autism travel, group trips, vacations, staycations, and more. So when you're ready for your next escape, make sure you contact us at winniesescapes.com. Follow us on social media at Winnie's Escapes as well. Winnie's Escapes, where your dreams become your reality.